In this demonstration, we're going to install and configure a remote simulator component. So here we're looking at the enterprise dashboard with DT server and its components shown. If I open up the DT server component, you can see that we've got coordinator, VSE, we've got a couple of simulators, one for simulator east, one for simulator west, both of them on DT server at this point. What we're going to do is install a new remote simulator on a node called DT comp. Once we do that, we should see that simulator appear here as well as in the portal and workstation. So let's switch over to the remote system DT comp. The way things work on this remote system is that you download DevTest Solutions and install it on this remote server in the same way that you install DevTest on the main server, except that you don't need a license file. What you do is you enter the path to the existing enterprise dashboard instead of specifying that you want to install a local one. The port given for the existing enterprise dashboard server is the address of the dashboard server, which is the DT server system, and port number 1506, which is the default. As mentioned, all of the components get installed except for enterprise dashboard here. When the install is complete, we'll just configure and start the simulator, not the registry or other components laid down on this remote install. So let's complete the installation. We say next. We're not going to install the demo server. Let it create links. We won't worry about desktop icons. And we'll just specify install. And we'll pause till the install completes. And we click next, and the install is finished. With installation complete, we've navigated to the Lisa Home or DevTest bin directory, and we note that the simulator executable and the simulator.vm options file exist, and they were created by the installer. What we'll need to do is modify the VM options file and also create a simulator.local.properties file in Lisa Home. These two files connect the simulator to the remote registry. Default VM options files and newly created local.properties files are already open in the editor, so let me bring that up. The simulator.vm options file contains this template information, and the simulator.local.properties file is blank. What we're going to do with the simulator.vm options file is we're going to add a property that specifies the path to the simulator.local.properties file. So I've added the Lisa local properties property prefaced by a -d. In most cases, we want to keep Lisa properties out of the VM options file. This is one of the exceptions. Generally, we want to put things in this file that are associated with anything directly involved with a JVM. Things like the maximum memory or those sorts of things that get accessed when the image first comes up. And now we'll save this file. Now for the simulator.local.properties file, we want to add a pointer to the registry, and we also want to give this simulator a specific name so it's easy to deal with. So we've specified the registry URL, and we've given this particular simulator a name. It's a good idea to give different components that you're distributing or have multiple copies of unique names that make sense in your environment. These names are accessible on things like Workstation or Portal. So let's save this file. So let's start the simulator. And it looks like the simulator has started. So what we do now is we'll switch back over to our UI and look at the enterprise dashboard. So we've switched back over to our client system. We're looking at the enterprise dashboard now. So let's open it, take a look. As you can see with simulators, if I show all here, you can see that we now have multiple simulators. Two of them are on DT server and one of them is on DT comp. Okay, so let's look at DevTest Portal. We should be able to see it there under Monitor Server Health. And indeed we do. The process we just showed can also be used to configure a Remote Vse. What you would do is edit the virtual service environment.vm options file, adding a path to your virtual service environment.local.properties file, and in that file you would specify the path to the registry and also give the virtual service environment a name.